I am with two amazing human beings and professionals in their field. Chad Bernard with Primary Residential Mortgage and Mr. Derek Lindsay with Ctown Media. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Real good. So I've probably watched Star Wars more this past week than I have watched in probably a long time. Now my son Joe and I got hooked on Star Wars last year, so it's been about 9 months, but that song's in my head and I keep like replaying it in my head. Then when I looked it up, I'm like, oh, it's from the movie A New Hope. Like, how relevant is that?
Yeah,
so
right.
Thought we'd start off with that. But what I would do is there's a couple of things I wanted to have a discussion about. One is mindset, and two, just kind of some things that we're doing and adapting in this changing market and changing world. But before I get there, I would love for you guys to, take an opportunity to introduce yourself. Chad, if we could start with you, if you want to let me know. I love the theme. Kind of curious as to the bow tie tuxedo, but if you could let everybody on here, if you could introduce yourself, let them know a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Chad Bernard. I'm with Primary Residential Mortgage. We're a residential lender out of Avon, and I've been doing mortgages for the past 20 years. And the purpose for the tuxedo is I figured, I've always been a person that's always trying to figure out how to deal with challenges. And I thought, when you were quarantined, we got to stay in the house, right? So you could wear sweatpants or a tuxedo. I chose a tuxedo. So I thought it would liven things up. So, it makes it fun. Plus, my customers are getting VIP service without them even knowing it with being all virtual.
You got that red carpet rolled out, and it's still get up, dress up, show up. It's just showing up in a different place for most of us. So awesome. Mr. Derek, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Derek Lindsay. I own Ctown Media Company. I do all of Brian's photo, video, 3D work, and got something opened up here real quick, but jumping around here a little bit, and there it is. Showing off see if I know how to do this here. There.
Yeah.
Oh, that way.
Yeah.
The dollhouse there and the floor plan's there. And so, I'm behind all that stuff, so.
And for those who don't know, really for both of you, and again, I mentioned, you both are genuinely great friends, amazing people, great at what you do. Chad, you and I met 12 years ago, or 11 years ago, at least.
Actually, I think it might be 13 now.
13 years. Hey, time flies when you're having fun. So 13 years in a networking group. And so, we've been able to do a lot of business together. You are amazing to our clients, and you continue to be and give the utmost respect and service to our clients. And Derek, you and I met 6 years ago. Did I get that right? Or has it been 7?
Yeah.
I lose a year here.
It's been a while. Yeah.
And so we met, and I know we're going to dive into a little bit of it in a minute, but, we met with, I've always been one to want to stay ahead of the curve. I know the whole curve is kind of a sensitive word right now. But for me, it was the curve of technology, right? It was the curve of the level of service. It was staying ahead of, delivering upon what we tell our clients we're going to do. And 6 years ago, I wanted to introduce 3D virtual tours, and I wanted to introduce video, and I wanted to introduce a level of technology that the Cleveland market hasn't seen. And so, I tasked Michelle to help me find who has this camera. And that's how we met, right? It's like 7 years ago.
Yeah. I love that story. Yeah.
You do an amazing job. So thank you. So the first thing I want to just have a quick discussion on is just general mindset. And I'll start. So, I've gotten, in the last, let's say since kind of Friday, Thursday, so about the last week, I've got a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of text. I've already used Zoom, but I've probably used Zoom more in the last week than my whole life before that. But it's kind of the new norm now. But a lot of people say, "Man, how are you sort of dealing with this? What should we expect? And why do you seem so calm?" And And here's my answer. And I had wrote down a couple quotes, and I just thought we'd kind of have a quick chat about it. And I just don't want to misquote since it's a quote, and it's definitely not mine. Is that, I don't try to control things that are out of my control. And that to me has been relevant since I first started. Now that was 15, 16 years ago, but I don't know if I really kind of truly grasped that until probably about 10 years ago. And so for me, it's where we're at right now, why I feel it just, we got to kind of just stay calm and work together through this. Again, we'll kind of talk about resources and just sort of where we're at and helping the community. But here is one thing. So you could see, I am due for a haircut, but right, they're all closed. Joe, my wife Jackie, and I love to go to Red Robin. They're closed, right? We can't control that. But what I can control is this, like what's underneath all of this long hair right now, which is my mind, right? In my mindset. And through the years, I've learned a couple things. I mean, there's really there's the mindset of fear, and then there's the mindset of love. And I feel like if you just choose the latter, which is love and caring and giving back, that's how you will remain calm. And that's just sort of, what I've been telling people that have asked. Like, I think that's super important. It's been important, but I think this and what we're facing and dealing with has been a wake-up call for a lot of us, both in and out of kind of our industry. So that's my sort of take. I mean, Chad, with you, tell me a little bit about how are you and your family, kind of personally dealing with this, kind of what's your mindset on this?
Well, I kind of mirror a lot of things that you're saying. With life, you have challenges. Some are greater than others. And I think it's important to be able to just educate yourself so that you can properly work through those things. And so you're not allowing fear to actually control your life. And then, and more importantly, you try to find the silver linings of everything that's coming up in life. You're trying to watch the positive things that you see. But also, I think a lot of times is the way you actually think. So if you're just focusing on all the negative news and the things that are going on, truly, you're going to be in a shell. And I don't think that that's the way to go about it. I think that you just educate yourself, know what's going on, and try to properly do it. And with us, again, with tuxedo and stuff, you try to make fun, have fun with your family and your loved ones, and be positive, checking on your family. And just as long as you're doing the right things, I think that ultimately, it'll work out. But I think with us, it's just keeping ourselves active. And it with on the work side of it is, especially with my clients and that, just keeping them calm and letting them know and educating them and properly communicating with them so that they know things are they're going to work out all as well. And we'll be there to support them.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we're going to talk, some specifics of some changes that we're all kind of going through and just what we're doing. Because obviously it's real. I mean, it's serious. And so there's things that are in place, to help, obviously protect everyone around us and, loved ones and our families. So Derek, talk to us a little bit about kind of just sort of, your mindset and things, that you sort of are and your family are kind of doing in dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, dealing with like everybody else, the kids are out of school, so they're home. We're trying to figure out how to keep them happy and entertained and not totally crazy, which I don't think we've been able to hear them in the background yet, which is good. Yeah. I think
Dad locked the door on his.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless that's your bedroom, we won't judge. But
Maybe it is,
I'm guessing you put like a padlock on it.
That's funny. Trying to just kind of keep going about. I don't want to say my normal day, but my normal days, going into properties and going to homes, other than really dealing with the homeowners. I've still been staying busy this week. I've been shooting videos, but still been shooting photos in 3D. Still, houses are still getting listed, and then I'm still busy when I do get home. So when I am here, I'm still able to get all of my editing and stuff done. Again, just trying to make sure my family is still happy and entertained, I guess, while we're going through this, and kind of learning through this, and I'm anticipating still this lockdown coming eventually, that I won't be able to even get out and do my job. My wife works in retail, and she will be able to, so she will be out, and so I'll be home with the kids, and I'm just kind of trying to make sure that I'm set up to be able to do that. And it's been a challenging week, that's for sure, with everything going on, and just like everybody, anxiety creeps in, and it's really easy to fall into that trap and really keep going with that. So I really like the name that Brian gave this, with the mindset and adapting in changing times. Trying to stay positive, because we're going to come out of this. It's gonna happen sooner than later, even though it's going to seem like it's going to drag out a long time. But what can we do to put ourselves in a really good spot when this does lift? What can we do to be in a good spot, both for our businesses, because we're all small business owners here, and for mentally, how do we come out of it in a good spot and be positive to be able to really grow again?
Yeah, awesome. So let's talk a little bit about some specific changes that we're both as now professionals and sort of in our own respective industries, what we're actually seeing in some of the changes that are out there. And I can start. So I just want to kind of give everyone and Derek's been a huge instrumental help, because again, we've always wanted to stay ahead, of sort of that kind of service curve, the professionalism curve, and the technology curve, and I know there's been a lot of talk of kind of like virtual showings and virtual open houses. And what I'm going to do is just, kind of talk a little bit about since last Friday through today, like just what we've been dealing with. So, last Friday, we, had an appraiser. And so normally I would talk to the appraiser and just kind of, maybe beat them there. But one thing I've always done is just make sure the sellers aren't there. Right. So, okay, get your home clean. And so Friday, I made the decision, well, let me meet the appraiser there, get the sellers comfortable. So obviously it was no handshaking, it's the whole, we are very, very mindful of the social distancing. We're very mindful of obviously the hand washing. And I've always been a kind of somewhat clean freak and OCD when it comes to that and cleanliness and organization. So it's just obviously on a little bit different level now. And so I opened the door when she was about 10 feet out, just introduced, let her, and then I just stepped outside while she went in, and they did the appraisal, and everything was back and good. If we fast forward to this past Monday, we've had 5 closings this week, and so we've again have made the decision. I mean, we're doing them more in the home of the individual client. We've been working with the title companies, and they're following the protocols. And again, it was they brought the hand sanitizer. Obviously, they brought new pens, and everyone just sort of kept the distance, when it came to that. So, and then the last 2 days in regards to filings, that's been kind of a big thing. And just to let everyone know, yes, Cuyahoga and Lorraine County, which is mainly where we serve, have shut down their buildings to the public, but they're still operating business, and they're just utilizing a drop box system. And what really that's resulted in for reality is it's taken maybe an extra day so far. It might increase a little bit, but just an extra day to get the filing. Now, we went on 2 listing appointments yesterday, and our stagers also been out on 2 staging consults. And what we're doing is we're just mindful of just talking to the client. Give me your thoughts, how you want to handle this, and are you okay? I mean, obviously we can't do our hugging, and we can't do our high-fiving, and we can't do our handshakes right now, but we're just using common sense, and everyone's been very obviously open and grateful. So Debbie's been able to get all of our kind of staging consults done, and the listing appointments that we went on yesterday, same thing. The homes were vacant, they were staged because they're currently being used as Airbnbs, so they clean them all the time. And again, it was just keeping that distance and just talking to the seller more than, kind of some showing of things that we would normally do. And that's how we've, been able to adapt and, how we're going to get through this. I'm going to leave some of the technology, Derek, to you, and I'm going to put some links in because when it comes to, I've always been, right, you and I've been trying to figure out how to win and how to use this. But we actually have and been using for 6 years a virtual reality, you know, where these happen to be kind of just not the nice fancy one, but you know, there's a link, you put your phone in, you know, kind of locks in place, and then you know, this to me, I could sit here and look through any of our listings through this, like I was there. That is the technology we've been using, and I know will be a little bit more prevalent. You know, we're using the virtual, the actual walkthrough virtual tours. We do videos and stuff like that. So, but I want to save some of that detail for you. But if you could kind of chime in, and while you're doing that, I'm going to just post some of the links. I was thinking of doing the Cannonball one. That seems to be everyone's favorite when it comes to just video and some of the virtual things, because you know there are. You know, some both sellers and buyers that we're working with just to make sure that everyone is safe. So explain a little bit about, Derek, what you're seeing, because I know you shot a house for us Monday. And so normally you and I would meet there, and we decided, you know, not to do that. So you go into the home, it was vacant. I know you were on a couple yesterday. You mentioned to me you're on a video shoot today. So what are sort of the precautions and sort of the changes, and how have you been able to adapt, you know, with what you do in your profession?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is trying to beat the homes by myself. And when I get to the homes with the agent or the homeowners there, they step outside, just like you did with the appraisal. They step out, and I kind of just do my thing and then get out of there. Before and after all of my appointments, I'm using Lysol wipes, and I'm, you know, wiping all of my cameras and tripods and gear and hands and shoes and everything down. Before I get into my car, I'm using the hand sanitizer, not shaking hands with anybody, which is still just taking a lot to get used to, that's for sure. But on that side, you know, it's all the standard precautions that everybody should be taking anyways. Outside of this, we should probably be doing more of that anyway. But just like everybody else in any service industry is doing right now, we're kind of stepping up what we do between appointments. And so onto like what I'm actually doing, I'm doing a lot more video and a lot more 3D now. And over the next couple of weeks, I want to be doing more of the 3D tours. Not just for myself, but I want to help agents and homeowners and buyers to be able to actually see these properties and show properties without them getting scared that a lot of people are walking through. So that's where the 3D tours can really come in handy. And I'd love to see. There we go. That took a minute to share screen.
Yeah, sorry, I had to give you permission. So.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't know why. I thought it would just take over mine, but yeah. So pulling up the 3D tour and being able to show off the home, so that buyers aren't going into every house and sellers don't have to leave. And then there's obviously people aren't touching things and walking around. They can actually really get a good idea of the house on here before they go walk in. So I want to be doing more of these for houses that are on the market currently or coming up. And so we've been talking about putting something together to be able to offer these very, very cheap, just to be able to get them out there to be able to help people, so that it's a win-win for everybody at that point. So that'll be, you know, more will be coming about that in the next day or two as we kind of finalize what that looks like. But we're basically going to be offering it for a cost. We just want to get these done to be able to help people and keep the momentum of the real estate industry, really. And Chad and Brian know that better than anybody, what kind of streak we've been on and how it's been going. And, you know, people are still listing their homes. They're coming into spring. This is the time. So.
Yeah, I love it. I did post a video, one of more of our infamous videos in 3D link too, so people could see that. Maybe Derek, throw in, if you're able to comment, maybe just your contact info, because that's the thing. I mean, you know, I do feel a big reason a lot of clients do use us is, you know, we are a resource. You know, we have a huge network. You know, we're extremely, you know, we're really focused on giving back. I mean, we're still, you know, doing especially now, you know, some of the volunteers are a little bit more up there in age. And so one of the big things, Meals on Wheels, we do, you know, they've lost a lot of their volunteers, but the elderly still need to eat. They still need to get their food. So I love that you're doing that. I think that is great. So maybe just throw in your contact information. Chad, on your end, what, some of the adapting to these changes, what are you seeing as far as the mortgage world goes? It was fine. I mean, it was 2 weeks ago we were talking about how crazy the refinance, and then there was the kind of, I guess, the rates went to like nothing, and then there was some mass confusion on that, and then sort of what we're dealing with now. But what are you seeing? How are you adapting? What sort of things do you guys have in place, for clients?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, it's kind of weird. It's like a perfect storm. You have the amount of applications that have been coming in the past several weeks is outrageous. It's great, because of rates being low. The thing is when the market first crashed and they dropped to like a 50-year low, it was overwhelming for the entire industry. Some banks even suspended taking loan applications on refinances and that. But personally, with applications and things like that, obviously I meet my clients all the time when I either doing an initial appointment and also at the closing, which obviously that's not an option now. So what we do is with our industry, we have the technology to be able to do all of that virtually. The thing is with that though, is a lot of times, people get like a link and then they're filling all their information out and they're doing my job as a loan officer, right? And it's just, that's daunting. And what we do not do is just send some link and somebody's filling out the information. We're walking through it. We're making it very personal. You don't have to be a tech savvy person to be able to do the applications and that. So we're trying to make sure that they're getting still the level of service, even though we're not there physically to doing that. But it is not actually slowing the process down whatsoever. We're taking applications quickly. We're doing our pre-approvals. We're actually staying on time with our closings. In fact, we're running early on a lot of our stuff. My underwriter, she works directly from home. My closer also. So the benefit is that we have a great communication line with internally with our industry to prevent like any issues coming up with what's going on with not being able to be in person. So that's great. So the consumer doesn't have to worry about not being able to get their loan because of what's going on. I also heard a lot of concern because of government loans, because we are a government lender. So we offer VA and FHA loans. A lot of people are concerned, FHA not being an option because, if the government shuts down or something like that, which is not the case. FHA, they are, still providing loans. They're not talking about stopping or suspending doing that. Now, it may slow the process down in certain, certain scenarios. It just depends on, the type of loan in that. But ultimately, everything is still running on time and smooth. The biggest thing I think that with our industry and what we're doing is communicating. I think when people understand what to expect and have an understanding of what, is going to happen throughout the process and educating them, which even before the virus, was going around, that's what we take pride in doing in the first place. I think once you educate somebody and they understand what to expect, it takes all that fear and anxiety away, especially when they're buying a home, especially first-time home buyers, because that's the majority of my business.
That's a great point. And what I was thinking about kind of the other day is just what we actually, do as professional, real estate agents. Buying and or selling a home, right, is got to be in the top 5 of the most emotional, biggest decision that one makes in their life. So before all this, people are fearful and scared, and it's a big decision, and it's our duty to help them, guide them through this as their trusted advisor. I think it's just now even more important, to be able to guide them and help them through this. And two, even kind of with our team and the broker with EXP, we actually have kind of our own sort of, we can have our own private virtual reality suites that we all meet in, that we kind of call the world. So for us, kind of working remotely as a team, is also, things that we're, putting into place as well. So I appreciate you bringing that up. All right. Any other kind of final thoughts that you guys have, Derek? Appreciate all that you do. We got a few more I'll be emailing your way here to help us out with. But any kind of final thoughts, on this and what you're doing, what you're seeing?
Go ahead, Chad.
I think the biggest thing is if you're nervous, if you're looking to buy a home, you're looking to refinance, and you want proper education, I think that the important thing is to just call somebody that you trust to doing that. I personally, even if it's somebody that's just getting their feelers out there, it's not about selling somebody on a transaction. It's about educating them so they can make a good decision if it's the right time for them to buy or not. I think that is probably one thing that I wanted to get out there. With the uncertainty, people nervous, with their jobs and things like that. I think once you actually put your personal scenario out there for someone like myself as a professional to help educate you, you'd be surprised to find that, you should be taking advantage of this situation right now, because rates being so low, you could be buying something and costing you a lot less than when rates go back up. I mean, just 6 months ago, we were climbing into the mid-high fours, and right now we're in the low threes. It's insane. It's amazing things that are going on, and as a home buyer, especially a first-time home buyer, you can really take advantage of that and doing it the proper way.
And then let me, Derek, before I get to you, then just kind of my final thought is I just want everyone to know, that we're here. We're here to help. We're here to give back. We're here to help answer questions. We're here to be that kind of, listening ear. We're here to be your trusted advisor, no matter what the need is. And I know we all just got to kind of work through this. And again, I think a lot of the positive I've seen is just how people are coming together, both on kind of local community levels and also just kind of throughout the country. It's unfortunate something like this, is happening, but I like what I'm seeing as far as just everyone kind of working together and actually being there, for each other. So I just want everyone to know that we are here. We've been here. We're going to continue to be here. If you need anything at all, no matter what it is, please reach out. Derek, final thoughts?
Yeah, everything you just said, I totally agree with that. And I would just encourage people to use this time to do something good. And, what are you going to do to set yourself up for 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, whatever it ends up being, to be in a really good spot, mentally and for everybody? What can you do to help other people? So,
yeah, I love it. All right, my friends, I appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see ya.